If you want to introduce yourself,
Awesome. Do you want me to pivot this more towards a vertical world? I've kind of stepped out of that temporarily, so I didn't
you
know
can
we're going to talk
do it
about.
however you feel welcome to. A lot of these questions are going to be directed towards verticals, but you
Which
can
is fine.
definitely, yeah,
So I
but
think,
you can definitely introduce yourself however you want to. Speak about whatever you want.
okay. Hi, my name is Annalisa Wall. I am an actress and singer based out of the Southeast. And I've done a few verticals and I've done a few lifetimes and I've done a few things that have wound up in movie theaters. So let's talk about it.
Okay. And so, something fun we should know about you, either personally or acting wise, or
Um,
anything.
Yeah, I always use this. It's that I used to be an opera singer, and still kind of do in my own free time. But I did it professionally and would do vocal performance competitions and everything and trained all of that. And then up until I was about 17 years old is when I decided, you know what, I'm just going to do musical theater instead of doing full on vocal performance. So,
I had my great grandfather's brother used to sing operas, and he sang them in Polish.
oh wow,
And yeah, yeah. So
that's wild.
it was, and it and not only that, he was like in a choir and everything, so he had the vocals for it,
Yeah.
and he was really like they were really like amazed by his talent because he was like one of six that was like just had this fantastic voice.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. So, what is a skill you always wanted to learn?
A skill I always wanted to learn. I started learning, I mean, with being singing, you learn piano. Um, and over the years I've been able to like vaguely sight read and plunk something out, but I wish that I have an upright 1938 piano in my house and I'm just not utilizing it and I really I don't know, I really just kind of want to like hone in on that and be like, no, I can do this as well.
Yeah, musical instruments are not my forte.
There's I mad props to all the people that play them. It's wild.
It's the same way with people who sing. Like, I am always in like awe, like, oh my god, you can like sing so well. It's like fascinating.
It is, I mean, it is an instrument as well, and you know, you spend many years training and kind of doing the same stuff. So I guess those people that I'm in awe of who play the violin are probably like, oh my goodness, how do you? And I'm like, how do you do it? You know?
Hmm. There are so many of you in the vertical community that I watch other stuff that you do,
Hmm.
and I'm just like, oh my god, like that's so cool. Like, I know that there's a male actor, Patrick Pawkins, who does ballet dance,
Oh, amazing.
and I am like just in awe of how incredibly talented he is, and
Mhm.
just like the dancing. And he's retired from it, but he still does like he does training and other stuff. And I'm just like, oh my god, that's so cool. And then there's like other things that you guys like vertical world that does that. I'm just like, yeah, that's really cool. Like I just think that's really cool. um, what movie could you what's a movie you could watch every day?
Hmm. What is a movie that I could watch every day? Oh my goodness. See, I don't know about things that I have weird movies that I've watched a lot of. I knew, I still do, Monty Python and Holy Grail by heart. I knew that as a child. And then I loved watching Bruce Almighty. It was kind of my comfort movie, which is very strange. Um, and I'm also a big fan of Transformers. I love watching them. I just really do. But I guess I could watch probably Frozen every single day. I play her pretty much every single week, and it doesn't bother me. It literally doesn't bother me, anyways. I don't get bored of it, and I don't get annoyed with the songs. I've been singing that song since it came out, and what is it, 2013, whatever. So I don't know, probably that one.
So I we no where I live, we have two ties to one to Transformers and one to Frozen.
Yeah,
There were two of our spots in each of those movies, so that's kind of
that's really funny.
ironic.
That's really funny. Yeah.
And then the other thing is, I grew up on Faulty Towers. So when I tell people that my sarcasm comes from British comedy, it's because I grew up on Faulty Towers, which
Hmm.
had John Cleese in
Yeah.
it. And then watching him do the 5 minute argument. And then there's Blackadder, which has like Hugh Laurie and
Hmm.
Rowan Atkinson in it.
Hmm.
So like I grew up on like British comedy, so I just tell people like my sense of humor is very unique. It's like very sarcastic and dry, and you're
Yeah.
not gonna get it.
No, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Yeah, we always used to watch I forgot what it was called. But it had Hyacinth Bouquet in it. It was,
Oh
do you
yes,
remember?
I.
Yeah.
Mhm,
Yeah, my
mhm.
family used to always have that on.
Yeah, I grew up with like those shows on Sunday on like our public broadcasting station used to air those shows. So I grew up watching those shows and just falling in love with them.
Hmm.
The public TV is the reason I fell in love with Doctor Who. Like I am obsessively a fan of Doctor Who. So it's always fun to meet another person who like likes that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And then my favorite comfort movie, oddly enough, is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
That's so
I
funny.
could watch that a million times over and never
That's the
get
one I
tired of
didn't I
it.
didn't watch this year. I didn't watch that one this year.
That one was really good. And then of course I love old movies.
Hmm.
Like I think I messaged you the other day. I was talking about the one that Sid Charisse and Van Johnson did with Gene Kelly, which was called Brigadoon.
Yep.
That's
I was
one
in
of my
Brigadoon.
that that's all time like favorite classic,
Yeah.
along with The Women,
Yeah.
which Norma Shear and Joan Fontaine and them did. So I love old movies.
They have the full Broadway version. It's more expanded than the movie. There's a lot more songs and everything in it, and hopefully, if you get the right cast, better Scottish accents
Mhm.
than the video than the the film Brigadoon. But that was one of my last live performances musicals that I did before I switched to film. So it's very near and dear to my heart.
Yeah, and then the fact too that a lot of people discuss that Gene Kelly actually wanted to shoot that film in Scotland,
Mm.
and they were just like, "Oh, we don't have the budget for it."
Yep,
But
full
he
sound
really wanted to shoot that there
stages.
because he was in love with the storyline and the plot and everything.
Hmm.
It's one of my favorite Gene Kelly.
Oh
Like I
yeah.
could pick that over Singing in the Rain.
Oh, 100%, absolutely. I feel like Singing in the Rain is a little bit overdone, just in my personal opinion. Yeah.
Yes, I 100% agree. Like that one, and then like Gone with the Wind
Oh
is
yeah.
I understand the story, but I think it's kind of overhyped with how much
Yeah.
is put behind it.
Hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
What did you want to be when you grew up?
This, I wanted to be a singer. I was singing when I was 3, and I wanted to be a performer, and I'm doing it. I've literally done nothing else.
See, I'm in awe of people who want to do this because I want to in art school because I wanted to create
Mhm.
websites. Like I grew up on MySpace and like making your background
Oh
was the
yeah.
thing. And
That was
I
still a
wanted to
thing for a
create
couple years with me as well.
I wanted to create websites and do all of that technical coding stuff. And then I got into art school and I got into a school where there was fashion in one sector, there was culinary in the next, there was
Hmm.
art in the next. And like you're surrounded all by all these other art,
Yeah.
crafts or, types. And then you're like, you have no idea what you want to do.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I love web design. And then now I'm at the point in my life where I'm like, oh no, maybe I want education. Maybe I want to be a teacher.
And that's
Just
wonderful. Like I wish now, just especially the way the economy is and everything like that, like I wish I had the ability to have a substantial daytime job that was something remote, but something that I was kind of passionate about. And I had a small business, which is what my TikTok, my other TikTok that has so many followers, I blew up on there during COVID, and I had like 250,000, and I was able to make over like 120,000 salary just working at home and working like that. But it was all with my hands, it was all tactile, and it just started becoming so physically exhausting, and that doesn't mean anything when you're applying to a job. It doesn't mean anything if you were able to get this successful and get this amount of blah 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 because I don't have a business diploma. I'm
Hmm.
I'm not seen for anything. So yeah,
Hmm.
as much as I love this, it's pretty much the only thing I can do. And I also know that it's the only thing I want to do. So I'm just gonna kind of keep pushing through it through hell or high water.
Yeah, and I really admire you guys. I honestly, there's a saying that like if you want it bad enough, you got to be willing to eat that shit sandwich
Yeah.
in order to do it. And you guys, the story, some of the stuff I've heard is like you guys have really done that.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Absolutely.
I'm just talking about like the way you guys shoot scenes and the places you go, and like it's just quite like fascinating. It's like a world I want to jump into because I'm so like my thing is I get fascinated with something and then I'm like, okay, how can I learn about this every which way? I always say I'm a jack of all trades and a master of none.
Yeah. Love that.
Because no
Yeah.
matter what it is, if I'm fascinated by it, I will want to learn about it. I will want to hear about it. I'll listen to
You
everything you have to
know,
say about it.
you should try to PA one of them if you want to. You can try to be a PA on them.
Hmm.
Yeah, and just kind of be
I
there on
would,
set, be behind the scenes and meet the cast and just kind of see how it all goes.
yeah, I would love to do that. I also used to write. I used to write fanfic back in the day.
Mm.
So there are stories that I am thinking about writing
Yeah.
and possibly putting out there.
Well, if I have some connections to some writers and producers and stuff, I have more of a connection to like a Lifetime movie writer.
Hmm.
And that usually is more like thriller. Um,
Hmm.
like not as much heavy on the sexual tension and more on the multiple people are dying. Um, which actually on Friday, a movie of mine where I die comes out, so that's fun. That one I filmed. I mean, these verticals they come out with it when I first started because I'm in the Renaissance. I'm in the Renaissance of verticals.
Hmm.
Nobody knew what they were, and they were such a quick turnaround. And my first one didn't do as well because they weren't ready for that kind of heat at that
Hmm.
moment. And then Luke was obviously offered the star program and everything. He's in LA. I'm not. Nobody on the East Coast, as far as I know, is with Real Short in that regard. But it also gives me the freedom
Hmm.
to work with, do other movies, we call them horizontals. Some people call them real.
Hmm.
Um, people who've never done a vertical, they were like, what do you mean horizontal? And I'm like, well, when you're in Atlanta, which is a hub for all of these verticals, they're like, oh, are you on another vertical? You nah, horizontal. They're like, oh, okay, that's money. And you're like, yeah, we rotate back and forth. So a couple of grips that have been on some of my Lifetime movies I worked with on Taming the Lion as well.
I love that vertical.
I do
That
too.
is
I
one
do
of
too.
my all-time favorites just because of the storyline on that one.
Hmm.
I could see where they were headed. They were already, and it's so funny because Real Short just like throws out a smexy vertical like every other week now.
Yeah.
And I I'm like that one I always look back at it fondly because I'm like the way they described it, the way they put your character in that scene and then like Luke is like asking you at some point, and I'm paraphrasing, where he's like, um, "Oh, are you ready to see this? Like, this is a dark side of mine that I hide." And I'm like, compared to the verticals now,
They
compared
weren't
to the
ready for it.
verticals
Yeah.
now,
And we had we
it's
had
insane.
serious intimacy coordination the whole way, like meetings beforehand. And now it's just kind of lacking. Where I've been on set where I've made out with somebody and there was not an intimacy coordinator in sight and they only called them for the sex scene. Um, which is not really what was supposed to be done. It's kind of
Hmm.
gotten out of hand the amount that they're pumping out right now. So people are being stretched a
Mhm.
little, and this is just some insider stuff. People are being stretched a little too thin. You'll get the real deal from me since I'm not signed with any exclusivity. So you'll just get the, the real shtick. Atlanta had to take a hiatus for a bit and reconfigure where are we going with these. The algorithm that they were doing started pumping out things that people weren't really comfortable with, because it was
Mhm.
trending. They were like, well, it's trending. And then they were saying, well, no, it's trending politically, not not for what people want. People don't want to escape into what's happening, and that's a little too touchy subjects. I've turned down a
Mhm.
few that I went, look, I have people that love me, and I have a very small fan base that have kind of like followed me, and I don't want to portray myself as a blatant racist on this. I do not feel comfortable doing that.
Mhm.
And sometimes you just go, nope. Like, I don't want
Yeah.
someone who has
I.
sent me the most beautiful messages who is from that country that I would be using derogatory terms. Like, that's just,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
just me personally. Yeah.
I would. I always say that I am probably one of the most hated people because I'm probably very opinionated,
Mhm.
and the way I see stuff is like, if this is wrong, I'm gonna speak. Are you good?
I was checking my battery and I pulled it down.
If this is wrong, I am gonna speak out on it.
Yeah. Hmm.
And so I touched the very hot topics. And there are just some women in this community, and like no disrespect or hate, that I just feel like I am so tired of them seeing this doing the same type of vertical. And while I understand that you guys, some people get offered the same type of vertical
Yeah.
essentially, and they're like, "Oh, I need a job, let me take it."
It's really
I
becoming.
also think that there are some, yeah, there are some people who really are starting to speak out, and
Mhm.
that's gonna help us who are talking about it and who are discussing it as well.
Well,
And I'm very much like
Rewritten.
I understand.
Mother Warrior got rewritten. There was a we had Yeah. There was a really nasty. That was another one. So it was redone from the original. I think it was Korean. Um, but I was supposed to be 47. Um, and the age difference between the woman that they cast as my daughter and me was 6 years. They did no age makeup on me. They didn't even mention it. They actually deleted the whole scene where like I'm pregnant. Like they deleted all of that. But there was a pretty brutal, pretty violent rape scene with her, and there was also
Mhm.
when I cut his dick off, it was shown, and I was supposed to feed it to him. And the original director did, had her own moral, whom I love, by the way. I've worked with her many, many times. She's been a first AD on a lot of these verticals and then other things, and she's awesome. But she, was like, whoa, I'm going to take a step back from this. This is not something I want to sign my name to. And then it went back and forth from the studio, back and forth, back and forth. Because I was sitting here going, the writer, Abby, who does a lot for Real Short, she actually reached out to me and was like, I want you on this, blah, 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 because I'm a stunt
Mhm.
performer and everything. And it works in everybody's favor if they don't have to hire a stunt double. Um, and which I've done a stunt double on Real Short. That's why I've done
Mhm.
7 of those instead of 4 that you know of. But yeah, so it went. I wasn't hearing any information. I wasn't hearing, and even Brett, who was the producer, was like, "I got you on this," and I was like, "Cool, cool, cool." Um, and I was like, "Hey, am I still doing this? Like, what's going on?" And then I found it all out later from one of the line producers, and then we ended up going through rotation through a couple of different directors who we ultimately settled on. Brian, who's actually a comedic director, who's an absolute right. If you don't follow him, it's like Brent Z Films. I'll send it to you on Instagram. He just posts the most wild stuff. He is so funny. He actually directed one that Luke was in, that race car one with like, oh, you're my stepsister and we slept together and you're 21 and I'm 30 and I didn't know it was you. I forgot what that one's called. But yeah, but like I said, there's a lot of like behind the scenes kind of stuff that's been happening in that regard.
Okay. Sorry, my internet has been like chalky the whole
Mm-hmm.
time, so I apologize. Um, one I do want to touch on why I have you here, the one with Richard.
Oh, yes.
That is my
Is it
favorite.
really? Okay. Is it really? What
Hmm.
do you love about it the most?
I love the way. Okay, first of all, I did kind of cry with that one.
Yeah.
But I
Oh,
am a
yeah.
big fan of Richards in general.
Yeah.
Like, so to see you two act off of each other was like really cool. And then that ending, the way it ends,
Mhm.
and the way you guys like flip it around on them
Yeah.
was
Like
also
the
really
mirror, and I'm
cool.
wearing the same wedding dress. That's actually why they picked it, that larger wedding dress versus like the skin tight one that I was wearing, because they were, I had to, we did a whole wrap on the baby. The baby got wrapped before, like a day before we got wrapped. And, we did a whole like, that's a wrap on the baby bump. That was a bane of my existence. It was that last one was, so the first one, I was only supposed to be like 3 months pregnant, but they didn't have it. They had like a 6 month one.
Hmm.
But these are verticals. You suspend disbelief, right? And then the one that
Yeah.
they had where I'm supposed to be like 6 months was like the 8 month, and it's you step into it, so it's a full silicone, and it was so tight on my butt, like it was like it sucked in my butt, and I was just like shimmying around. It was the most, going from your size to then that is so strange because you're like, oh wow, sorry. But no, Richard and I had a good time messing with that. There's a lot of fun behind the scenes playing with the baby bump and everything. He was a good time. He's funny.
I love watching him work, and like any actress that he steps into a role with, it's just like you're gonna see like BTS that has like the funniest stuff attached to
Yeah,
it because that's just who Richard is.
yeah.
And I crack up because like I'm like, Richard, you're so lucky you married Princess Aurora.
Oh, she like runs
Like,
his PR. Like she started doing it on ours, but then has kind of like picked it up since. Basically, like she will call him and be like, "All right, this is what's trending. You need to take this video and this video and like she will call him in the middle of it. She's awesome. Yeah, I never met her in person because we're on different sides of the country, but
mhm,
seriously, like she's like, this is your brand. She's his whole, behind every great man is an even greater woman behind the scenes. So just know that the
mhm,
image that is Richard is his wife, and he will attest to this. He 100% will. He'd be like, oh yeah,
yeah. Jessica's fabulous.
oh
I've
yeah,
talked to her.
yeah.
She is the
He's
sweetest
so
person
nice.
ever on the face of the planet,
Hmm.
hands down. Like I adore her to no end. She is a queen, literal
He
queen.
fortunately has the ability to have like a 9 to 5 job, that is so flexible, and then he also has this, as well. So that's just kind of the dream for an actor,
Hmm.
because he's signed with the R-Star program. So it's ours is like contract based, like
Hmm.
period, like just little, you're doing this movie this month. This is what you're getting paid. Blah blah blah. And his is more like, unless they changed it, you're doing 9 movies this year, and this is how much you're making, and we're not going to tell you what movies you're doing. So that's what he told me. He was like, I found out I was doing this movie like a week ago. I was like, I knew I was doing this movie 2 months ago.
Um, and Real Short just I have my qualms with Real Short. I love that there are so many like I found so many actors through Real Short. And my first vertical was off of Real Short,
Yeah.
which was Autumn Noel and Casey Esser
Hmm.
did Wolf vertical in 2023. And
Yeah.
like I remember just like how I found Real Short was just like TikTok ads. Literally,
Hmm.
because we were still kind of stuck in COVID mode,
Yeah.
but we're not because I was an essential worker. I worked during all of COVID.
Yeah, we were
Um,
we were as the and I know we're gearing away from all of these questions. But this is what it's about, right? The nitty gritty. I know all the behind the scenes stuff. If you wanna ask me any fun questions, about all that. But yeah, I do love Real Short. Some of them love me. I don't think I trend well with Real Short, so you know, it is what it is. I don't know why I don't trend well. I don't know why every single one that I have done doesn't get the following. I don't
Hmm.
understand why I don't. Even when I'm paired with like really like highbrow stars, I don't know why it doesn't trend over to me. I don't know. I've been told I'm too real for these. I don't care.
No, I think you need to. There's a certain app that I could see you on for sure,
Yeah.
and that's Candy Jar.
Oh, I haven't been with
Have
them
you
yet.
have you ever seen their work?
No, I've worked with My Drama, but I've only worked with the Fox subset of My Drama. They're
Hmm.
different than the traditional My Drama. Um, it like I said, it was like kind of a secret for a while where these networks were getting just being like, what's this? And it was a director, so there were three that were a trial. And it was funny because some of the people that were working on it, I've worked on major productions with. So what you're getting behind these scenes are all of these people who work on larger productions, but this right now is kind of like the only thing that is paying, unfortunately. So it's a slippery slope because you can get paid a lot as a lead, um, and not so much as a supporting.
Hmm.
I've done a supporting before. That's because I worked with the director before, and she's phenomenal. And she asked me to come do this. My CEO after divorce. CEO become That was my least favorite one. That was the most boring movie I think I've ever watched in my entire life. Nothing against Jesse and Sarah, but it was just nothing against the writer. Probably everything against the writer. I don't know. It
Yeah.
was just the most boring movie I think I've ever watched in my life. That's why I don't talk about it. But I got to play a villain for a little bit, and just doing the whole like, oh my god, is really out of my wheelhouse. It's such a far stretch for me, and I know that these verticals love that kind of acting.
Hmm.
And to pivot back towards Firefighter Fiance, Josie, who was our villain, she made me like a villain. She is such a
Hmm.
phenomenal actress, and we've actually worked together on other things. I saw her recently, and she got me a musical theater job. We love her,
Hmm.
but uh, she took just such a dynamic where it made me understand where this character was coming from, where I could see, you're not just evil for evil's sake. There's
Hmm.
a reasoning behind why you're
Hmm.
doing this. There's a desperation behind why you're doing this, and I can kind of see
Hmm.
that. And I like that as an actor. I like that where we can find these depth. We can find this depth to something that doesn't necessarily need to have depth in order for it to succeed, but she did it anyways. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like that with CJ Walker.
Mm-hmm.
She did Black Heiress Listed,
Mm-hmm.
and it's over. It's on Real Short.
Yep.
I think it was another app that did it, but it's on Real Short. And she played Becky Slade, and I always like being a Vertical fan for so long. I restarted reviewing in a year, but being a Vertical fan for so long, there's this time gap here where it's like, okay, we want from these really like ordinary people, everyday people kind of just coming in, doing these verticals. And if the fans like them, they like them. If they don't, they don't
They
type of
don't.
thing. And then to the trying to improve it and then slightly improving it and then all of a sudden dropping back
Yeah.
to like overly dramatic, overly cheesy.
And that's the thing is you read these comments that, and this is me just being real, and honestly, a lot of the people in the production agree with me. But I'm just who I am. But you read the comments and they're going, God, this is so cheesy, or just like, oh my God, just the same old story again and again. But they swipe up. keep
Mhm.
watching. And then the people on the movies that I've worked on, I always get the trial movies. Taming the Lion was a trial movie, and Mother Warrior was a trial movie. And we got so many positive comments on Mother Warrior that were like, finally a new story. Oh, this is an action one. Like, I really enjoy this. Like, please do more of these. But
Mhm.
because we are losing, and this is why I like the Fox subset of my drama, is because that's one of your questions, is what's my favorite. And although I love, love, love Luke to death, and I think that he and I have the most chemistry out of every person I've worked with, because he and I are closer in, comfortability and personality. I loved Billionaire Blackmail because it was shot so beautifully, and the production team on that are massive. It's Settle's film. They're massive. They're in Asheville, North Carolina.
Mhm.
It's about 2 hours from where I live. And they got like 3 verticals and then like 3 elements, and they had the big elements, and then they worked on the Zach Braff movie. Then they went back to 3 verticals for Fox, and they kind of do this, so you're getting these people that are in this craft doing it, and they're going, you know what? I know I'm only given 2 weeks to film this, but we've got the equipment and we have the team. So let's shoot this like a real movie,
Mhm.
and nobody's really washed out. You have these incredible makeup artists on set that have worked crazy people. Like, my hair and my face was so on point for that movie. Like, can we talk about it? My costumer, oh my God. You know what I mean? I was like, the vertical world does not deserve you, because these are people that are currently in the industry. They're doing it and they're like, wow, it's a paycheck for February, you know?
Mhm.
But that one was my favorite. And it, although I don't know if it trended well or not. I
Mhm.
hear stuff from the grapevine. Maybe there wasn't enough sex. I don't know. You never
Mhm.
know. I was told by the villain of the story, who's close friends with the director, um, he was like, oh yeah, we were too real. And I was like, I haven't heard anything from the production. And he said they loved it and they hated it, and they loved it and they hated it. And I was like, you know what? This other, Lifetime loves me and I love them. So
Mhm.
I'm just going to give you whatever I can. And I would love it if you loved me in return. But I understand
Mhm.
sometimes they see algorithms and dollar signs, and, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, and it really breaks down to the like, and no hate to anybody in the community, because I have met some really wonderful in the community people in the community, and I
Yeah.
love talking to people. It just really comes down to like, there are faves out there, and it gets me irked, because I'm like, there are so many talented people in this
Yeah.
community. There are so many talented people that if these companies just put a little effort
Hmm.
into these verticals and stop choosing the same, oh, fat girl loses weight because her she wants to impress her husband and his friends,
I just had an audition
or
for one where is like that, where I become hot, you know?
mhm, or the other one that is like, what's the other one, the death wife, who is like in a toxic relationship because her husband wants to protect her, but the only way to do that is to be toxic, like that
Mhm.
type of storyline is like. And then you, like I said, you see the same girls doing the same verticals over and over again, and this community is following these people. And like, I get that it's a job, I understand that, but at some point you really also need to be like, kind of nudge your foot in there a little and be like, hey, the fans don't want this. I know me as a
It
fan.
really has nothing to do, like, and this is why I've kind of taken a step back from it a little bit,
Hmm.
is because it has nothing to do with what you want. It's all
Hmm.
dollar signs and it's all algorithm. So it's all AI churning these things out, and we're losing art. We're losing the art
Hmm.
for it, you know? Like when
Yes.
I work on these lifetimes, my last lifetime that I did, which actually you should jump on a lifetime fan train, because it's the same kind of stuff, but it's like
Hmm.
gritty and, oh, but I digress. But the writer reached out to me during the whole thing, and she was like, I'm seeing the dailies. You're exactly what I envisioned as Fiona, that standoff between you and Candace. And I was like, oh, thank you, and this is just a little woman who's got 160 followers, but she's been writing for movies, and you don't know
Hmm.
that, and she wrote it. not a computer, not a machine. She
Hmm.
didn't have an algorithm tell her what to write. She did it. And you know
Yeah.
what I mean? And then was reaching out to her actors while we were filming. And, you know, and then there's this mysterious man named Pierre who's apparently the head of everything. And if he doesn't like this, you have to change it the next day. And you know what
Hmm.
I mean? It's just a fun little thing. And I liked my experience with my drama. I do love Real Short. I was
Hmm.
from the Renaissance there. I would love to work with them again. But for a while I was fighting it, and I was fighting like, you know, why am I not getting picked? Why am I not getting picked? And come to find out, it's because it was already given away. Um,
Hmm.
and then it just kind of makes you feel really sad after a while because they're wasting your time. They're wasting everybody's time doing auditions because I don't know if you know, the
Hmm.
movies are already predetermined, and then they
Hmm.
send out auditions anyways.
Yeah. I can see that with Real Short.
Yeah,
I can see that. And that's what I'm talking about, like the same kind of picks. And it's really horrible because I've seen it too where fans assume that automatically because their favorite person, they're talking about their favorite person,
mm-hmm.
they're gonna somehow influence who gets casted in a role. And it's kind of hard to watch because there is some, like, you guys are put again, and I do not in any shape or form want to do that, but you guys are kind of pitted against each other as women in this
Yeah.
community because like we have fans who will like go die hard, and I've seen the posts and it irritates me because I'm like, that's just cruel and mean punishment. But then at the same time, I'm like, I know these type of fans, I know these type of women,
I
this
stay
is
away.
what they
I don't know
do.
any polls. I don't know any of what you're talking about. If I've been included in them, I don't know.
I've seen the popular girls in the community be put into like mean girl pitted style conversation, like
Okay.
edits and posts and stuff. I saw a vertical actress come out and talk about mental health and got slammed by somebody else's fans. I've seen a vertical actress slammed by fans because she was younger for the role, and you could tell the age hadn't been there yet.
Uh-huh.
And she loves verticals. She loves doing them. I've seen her growth, and she was kind of slammed by the fans for that naiveness for being young. So I've seen
You've got to
some.
like step away from it. You know what I mean? Because it's a whole nother monster. It's just like
Mhm.
a completely different monster.
Yes. And like I'm like, these women are all trying their best.
Yeah.
They're all doing a great job. They're all going out there and like sort of already trying to do the same job.
Yeah.
And just hoping like, hey, somebody like, I want this job, like see my talent.
Yeah.
And then to have fans be like this, it's quite sad,
Yeah.
you know. But I also realize that like these are older women and this is what they do. I mean, I've experienced it in retail. They love to pick apart younger women,
Hmm.
and they do that religiously. So it's just such a structure. But swinging back around to what we were talking about with the apps, I think Candy Jar,
Okay.
like if you ever get the chance, Candy Jar would be perfect for you because Candy Jar is a lot more like Lifetime,
Mm.
but they're the vertical world.
Oh, cool.
And I have seen some really like they impress me.
Yeah.
And I've been watching Real Short.
I don't know
So
if they're in because I work in the Southeast hub.
mm,
Although LA has a lot of they have it's LA is a majority of verticals, and they will fly
yeah,
people out.
yeah.
Um, but I'll have to look because I've kind of been when I'm working a contract like my last movie, I was gone for a month. I literally don't apply for anything else. I'm just in the zone. I'm focusing 24/7, and then I come out of it and I go, I should probably get another job, right? You know. So
They won by I think Galilee TV at some point. I
oh,
don't know if they still do in the
that I see.
vertical.
That I see. Yes.
Mm-hmm. They one of the stories they did one recently, a baseball story with Mark Vega. I don't know if you're familiar with his work,
Yeah.
but it was really good, like new age, new adult, like coming of a not quite high school, not quite but in college, like
Yeah.
that little space there. And it was just a really good story of the girl falling in love with the guy, gaining extra friends, and
Yeah.
just like getting this young romance.
Hmm.
And then he did another one with Lindsay Schreiner over there
Uh-huh.
that is intensely dramatic.
Ooh.
And it has your head flipping at every turn, and you're just like, wait, what's going on here? Is he cheating on her? Is he not cheating on her? But it's done in such a like
Yeah.
tasteful way that I'm like, this could be a lifetime
Yeah.
movie because it's that good.
Uh-huh.
And they are really like one of the ones that has been impressing me with their
Okay.
verticals that I'm like, even their paranormal ones are not overly cheesy.
Because
Like it
we
has,
wanted to do like a horror one for
mhm,
my drama. And they were kind of fighting us over and over and over again. They were like, that doesn't trend well, that doesn't trend well. But I have a stunt coordinator friend that works a lot of them, and he used to be the bodyguard for Jeremy Renner, so he's very persuasive. And I think
mhm.
they did get greenlit for a horror one or two, so that'll be really fun to watch.
Oh, I'm so tired of these apps saying the horror ones don't trend because I just watched this fantastic horror one
Hmm.
on Drama Box with Adams Santa Cruz,
Hmm.
uh Andre Pernella, or Pernelli, I may have his last name wrong, and Nick Rotaco. And it's basically an LGBTQ plus horror,
Oh, that's cool.
um Hitchcock
Uh-huh.
psychological type of thriller,
Yeah.
not really horror, more thriller-esque, but like he's haunted by the passing of his mother, and she was unalive by one of the serial people. I gotta be careful of TikTok.
Oh.
Um, and he meets the student Hunter, who's played by Andre, and Hunter and him are just like in this psychological minery discussion concept. You don't know if Hunter's real.
Uh-huh.
You don't know what Hunter has planned. You think Hunter might be the serial. You're not exactly sure. And then it goes back and forth between Adam's character, Charlie, being the serial and Hunter being the serial.
Mhm.
And it was just such an intense psychological thriller.
See, that sounds enjoyable. Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't like those. And I'm
Yeah.
sitting on the edge of my seat just watching it.
Yeah.
And like you're like going through this because I'm like some of my favorite actors are in this. Let me watch this. Let
Yeah.
me see what
I'm
it's about.
invested. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, how is this not trendy?
Hmm.
How is this not trendy? And then I was like, I
It's
gotta do a
the
review on.
studios have to push it, and they don't.
Hmm.
They push the things that they've already pushed. They push the people that they've already pushed, and they won't take a risk, and it's kind of losing the art form, you know?
Yeah, and just like it cracks me up because have you seen what Real Short is doing?
No, I deleted the ad.
They're doing these real star things.
Yeah.
It's like a reality space concept where they're from the premise, from what I'm understanding, they're gonna pick somebody out and set them up as a Real Short actor. And I'm like, okay, so one or two things. This is a vertical that you're trying to make look real because they've already tried to do that with another one.
Yeah.
And it did not go down well because the fans saw right through it. Or this is actually a reality and you're picking somebody when you and I get why they're doing it
Hmm.
because it's a fresh face, it's somebody new in the business. They can sort of train them
Hmm.
the way they want to. But then I'm like, you have all of these other fantastic
Yeah.
people that you could push. All of these other amazing verticals. Like one of my favorite verticals over there is with Violet Bennett called After Cancer I Turned Into a Badass. And she literally she thinks she has brain cancer and she goes about her way and she's just like, oh, I'm gonna live my life how I want to live my
Yeah.
life. And then she starts doing all this crazy stuff. And Bradley McCarley, I can't I'm bad with names. But he played the main lead in this.
Hmm.
And laugh my behind off because I'm like, I hope dude has slap insurance or something with how many times they had his character clocked with
Really?
something.
That's so
Yeah,
funny.
but it wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna slap her out of
Yeah.
dramatics. It was like Violet, playing the wife, she got upset. She took her purse and just like clocked him in the head with it. So it was like made to be a comedy and just
Mhm.
funny and overall. And I'm like, real short, what happened? Like, what happened to this? And like, I'm always the one. I'm like, I've had fans get annoyed with me because I will clock something or talk about something so fast
Yeah.
because I'm like, I'm just over it. I know you can do better. Why are you not? So it's just insane.
Preaching to the choir, I tell you. I
If let me see.
know we
If
talked
someone
about it.
was going to make your life into a vertical, who would star in it?
Oh, see, I don't know. I mean, it's me.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so funny being a part of the vertical world, and I'm so removed from it. You
Mhm.
know, I can't get invested in that way. So the people that I know that are stars are only a handful of people. Um, I've heard amazing things about Nicole. I know a lot of people have worked with her. I just think she's a fantastic actress, and I think she could handle it. I don't know if she can sing though. We're gonna have to work on that, but I think she is a fantastic actress that is unfortunately pigeonholed in the vertical world and really could
Mhm.
branch out
Mhm.
and do a lot more, but legally cannot.
Mhm.
That's just my 2 cents.
Mhm. What about Erin Orchid? Have you ever heard of her?
Mm-mm.
She's done one for the vertical, for real, for real. And she's done several on Drama Box.
Uh, Remind me kind of what she looks like.
Uh,
Name.
Kind of my hair color, long. Um, Really, she can sing. She sings. She has a
I'll have
beautiful
to look her
voice.
up after this because I'm
Yeah,
so bad with
yeah,
knowing all this stuff. Yeah.
yeah. I'm bad with names.
Hmm.
I can remember faces, but I'm
I'm
bad with
so bad
names.
with
Like
names. Yeah.
I'm like, and that I get so mad because like IMDb sometimes has the information like ready to go, and then there are other times where it's not up there, and I'm like, I just forgot this character's name. I don't know this person's
Yep.
name, and then I have to scroll through stuff to find it, and I'm like, oh, I'm like, I just want to put a review out, but how do I do that without crediting people? And I'm one of those fans that like if I love your work and you say, oh hey, I got one on Drama Box, let me go watch it on Drama Box.
Yeah.
If you got one on Candy Jar, let me go watch it on Candy Jar. I have my Shira TV sweater on,
Yeah.
which I don't know if you know about this.
Mm-mm.
Um, Kylie Carson and Candice Masaga
Hmm.
are creating their own vertical app,
Oh, that's
and it's
awesome.
actually coming out next year. I mean, this year,
Yeah.
and they've already filmed the vertical for it, and they really
Amazing.
want to diverse
Uh-huh.
the community more and give us more vertical stories with more deeper
I
conversations.
like that.
And so I was like, when I heard about it, when Kylie told me about it, I was like,
Mhm.
girlfriend, yes,
Yes.
bring it. I will follow you. I will watch your work over here. Because they kind of want to do vertical stories, but with more depth, more description, more plot.
Mhm.
And I think that's my biggest thing is plots.
Yeah.
If there's ever an issue I have, it's a storyline. Because I mean, like I said, you can hand these people the same story over and over again, but if that storyline is not good, that vertical is like just too cheesy and too
Yep.
much.
I agree.
What was your first performance?
So I first performed when I was 3 years old. I was in a little singing group called Sound Celebration.
Mhm.
But then my first musical was The Music Man, where I was Gracie Shin. I don't know if you know like the Shins. And then my first professional was when I was 7. I worked on Tiny Thumbelina. And then I really kickstarted afterwards when I did Mary Lennox in the Secret Garden. I was about 9 or so.
Mhm.
And then I just took off from there. I've been doing it so many
I
40,000 years.
my little heart just like jumped because I am such a fan of like old movies and musicals and books. And so when you said Secret Garden, I was like, "Oh yeah, Secret
I
Garden."
was Mary
And then
Lennox. That's right. Yeah.
yeah, and then I was like, another one of my favorites is of course Anna Green Gable
Hmm.
because like how can you not get like Anna Green Gable in there? And then we also had Little Women. I'm
Yes.
very close to Little Women.
Mhm.
The March name is actually a family name.
Oh, that's amazing.
And I had my grandmother, who her maiden name was March, actually had sisters. It was all girls.
Oh,
So every time I read Little Women, I think
you're a little
of,
too close
you
to it. I
know,
understand.
yeah, yeah. But musicals like Brigadoon,
Mhm.
sing Seven Brides for Seven Brothers,
Mm.
which not a lot of many people talk about, but it's so good. There's just so many that I'm like I could watch a million times over.
Mhm.
Um, Quiet Man, which is not really a musical, but God, I love Maureen O'Hara in the
Yep.
movie. What type of rehearsal schedule do you have?
So it really depends. If you're doing a lower budget, like a Vertical or a Lifetime, you don't really have a rehearsal schedule. Um, there used to be a time where we were allotted to have read throughs and work with people. That doesn't really seem to be the case anymore. Billionaire, my co-star was replaced at 7 p.m. the night before we started filming. Um, which is kind of how it goes. I do wish we had a little bit of a rehearsal schedule because the onus is kind of on the individual performer and the actor to kind of find that character and find that depth and everything like that. In the last movie that I worked on, we just built such an amazing little family, really solid group of actresses and actors and everything. And it was at the end of the month, it was like, oh no, goodbye, we gotta go.
Yeah, I can tell with those verticals. I Dad looked at somebody one day and I was like, "You shot that vertical in 7 days, didn't you?" And she's
Sometimes
like,
5.
"Yeah." Yeah, she's like, "Yeah, it was 7 days," and I was like, "I could tell," but how fast paced the vertical, and it irked me so horribly because the co-stars, the main leads in it, I know their work.
Yeah.
I one of them is like OG
Hmm.
vertical, and one came in like sort of midway,
Yeah.
and I know their work so well, and I'm like, you had this talent, and you handed them 7 days, and this kind of drama, and this kind of script, like it's insane. And I'm just like sitting over here, like you had great talent in your hands, and to see them do like a 7 day script so fast, it's like this vertical was fast paced. It drove me nuts, and
It
I'm
used to
sitting there
be
and I'm
it used to be 9 days. The Lifetime movies I work on, they're a month. Um, and yeah, it used to be 9 days, but now I've seen some where they're like 7 days continuous, and you're not getting any days off, and it's ooh, and depending on what production you're working on, you can go into OT or you can't go into OT. But if you are a cast member, you don't get paid OT, so overtime. So
mhm.
you know, um, but like I said, it's there was a beauty to it behind the scenes, and now I feel like it's just a cash grab. And some people have fallen into that, and some people are thriving in that in their own individual goals. Those are just not my goals, and that is completely okay.
And I have a, like I understand. Like
Mhm.
I worked in retail and I worked in customer like food, and I understand the whole cash grab type of aspect of a work situation. Like I've struggled terribly in my life.
Yeah.
And so I can get that whole doing that cash grab thing. But I also do clap and admire those who are like, hey, I'm gonna stand my ground with this, and I'm not gonna promote this, or I'm not gonna do this, or I'm not gonna, because really at the end of the day, I will be the first one. And I always say this, and like I've said this numerous times. I'm like, hey, apps, you need to understand that no matter where they go, I'm following them.
Yeah.
I want to see their work.
Well, I hope
And
I hope you tune in to Lifetime Movie Network on East Coast 8 p.m. on Friday. You see me die.
if not, if it's on the Lifetime app, I'll watch it for sure.
I
Um,
think so. I'll follow up with you on this. This isn't the one that I have two leads that I did last year, and this is not one of them.
mhm,
The two leads that I did, they're larger budget and they're going to like France, and they'll probably get picked. Those are the ones that get picked up by like Hulu and stuff like that. The last one I worked on is definitely candidate for that.
mhm.
It's definitely a candidate for getting picked up, by a streaming platform. But this one's fun. And I found they were like, oh, it's coming out soon. And I was like, really? We filmed it like 6 months ago. Like, wild. Okay, cool. Great. I did some schmacting in it though. I'm really barefaced the whole time. It's just like a raw version of me that you'll see. In that one, it's but I'll see if it's on the app. Hopefully, it's on the app because I don't have cable. I have 42,000 streaming platforms and no cable.
Have you ever done a Christmas one?
I have not done a Christmas one. I have not done a Hallmark.
Mhm,
I have an audition for one tomorrow. That is a Christmas one. I don't know. I always get the like I don't get the bubbly Hallmark face. Like I don't give that.
mhm,
I think I give troubled, methodical lawyer, teacher, cop, detective situation, investigative journalist, where I'm always like thinking about something, and my
mhm.
vertical things are she don't need no man, but she wants one against her own whatever, I don't give the whole like, oh, it's just Christmas and I just love it. I know my trope and I don't give that. um
See, that's funny because I find that from you. But maybe it's because I know of like your like princess aspects, that type of stuff.
I
But
literally
like
I like stunt double and then I like let it go. Like
yeah.
it's but speaking of let it go, I do have to cook dinner here soon. So if you want to pick a couple ones out of your list, well, I know we've
Hmm.
just been shooting the breeze over here.
Well, I think I might almost be done. Um Hold on, I got lost here. Uh what do you think makes a performance most believable?
Hmm. I Performance most believable. It's not really I'm an acting coach. It's not really about that. Um, it's if you every single character you can find within yourself, not the other way around. I will never be Annalisa making decisions for Amanda. I will never be Annalisa making
Mhm,
decisions for Samantha. That's not what's happening. I am finding Samantha within a part of myself, right? There's always going to be a part of that. And then I am using my
mhm,
whole actor's tool belt that I've spent years cultivating, and I will just expand on that and I will expel it outwards. So once you find that connection, you are just living that truth the entire time. Acting is living authentically through imaginary circumstances. That is the definition of it. That's another thing I have is there's these people who are just actors who have studied and studied and studied the craft, and we are getting buried by models with followers
mhm.
because we
Yep.
are working on our craft. We're not playing the game, and
Mhm.
I can be bitter about it all I want, but that has nothing to do with me. I'm just going to focus on myself and my work, and I know eventually my own path will come to fruition in whatever way that it was meant for me. You know.
What makes a good scene partner?
What makes a good scene partner is depending on the gravity of the script, I need you to work with me off camera. I need to have some sort of rapport with you. You know what I mean? I worked really hard with my last co-star. We had been married for 5 years, and we had to have this banter that we were married for 5 years, and just kind of the, best wife ever. Don't you forget it, like, oh, well, I just cooked this. Oh, your famous spaghetti. Okay. Like where you have to, and he and I were just so jovial back and forth. And then when it's not your coverage, depending on the situation, I will always give you 100%, even if I can't be because like camera's here. If I can't be here and somebody just has a fist for eyeline and I'm like over here, I will always give you something to work with. And I really don't like it when my scene partner just phones it in. When it's not on them and they just phone in the lines, and then we flip the world and now it's on them, and I go, "Oh, so that's how you were acting the scene." I would have been completely different. I would have responded to your stimulus completely different had you just given me an ounce. And I will always give you 100% unless I am putting myself in a state of trauma. If I'm putting myself in that, shock or grief or just hyperventilation. And we always talk about this on set too. If I'm going there, so to speak, I will tell the director, like, hey, because I'm the one receiving the information, he's the one giving the information. I'm kind of the one who's feeling a little bit more. Everybody just understands that that's what's happening. I will be like, hey, can we flip this on me first? Can I just ask that we do my coverage first so that I can get the hell out of where I am mentally and become a sane person again. And then when it flips back to my scene partner, I will always tell him, hey, just so you know, use that, what I just did. I'm going to give you about 50. And they go, yeah, great, good. And it's just communication and that, because if you're the love of my life, if you're my husband, then we got to know each other at least,
Yep. Who do you look up to as an actor? It can be an actor, director, writer, whoever.
So I saw this one. You probably don't know her. So a friend of mine, Natasha Halevi, she is incredible. Feel free to tag her in this if you post. She is Sean Gunn's wife. I don't know if you heard of the big man named James Gunn.
I know who Sean Gunn is. I'm familiar with Kirk. I am a Gilmore Girl diehard.
It's so funny. I worked with him and then like later made the connection and was like, oh yeah. I'm so bad. I work in film and I don't fangirl over anybody. I worked with Lyndon Ashby and then I had some background go, oh my God, can you that they were at my funeral apparently. And they were like, oh my God, like if you see him again, like could you tell? And I was like, huh? And then I like looked Lyndon up and I went, oh, you were kind of a big deal. And then I went, I didn't know I was working with royalty,
I always tell people I use the word fangirl, but I don't fangirl because I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, so they could be massive, like, bad people in real life. And so I don't like fangirl. Yeah. So
but anyway, she's, I love her work. I have yet the opportunity to work in one of her films. And if this gets posted, I have yet to work in one of her movies. But I really like how she and her husband both don't rely on, her brother-in-law's status or anything like that. She's incredibly down to earth. She makes whatever the hell she wants to make. She does, she's done exemplary things, you know what I mean? But she's constantly working. They're both so incredibly humble. And I go, you know what? That's the kind of life I want to lead. Lead is where I go, you know what? I'm going to go to France. I'm going to go to France because I can, because I'm a badass. I'm going to go to France. And then I'm going to come back later. And I do want to pay her a visit the next time I go to LA, because I just haven't spent enough time with her, as a person instead of we're more internet friends. I've only spent time with her
Yeah.
individually a couple of times, but just she's just so cool. She's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of people you want in your life too. It's like just down to earth, like, and I'm always one of those people. If there's a will, there's a way, and
Yeah.
you're gonna always find a way.
Mhm.
Um, who is the funniest person you worked with on set?
Funniest person. So, I mean, you may not know this, but I'm actually freaking hilarious. Not to do my own horn, but comedy is my background. I was improv captain twice in my tenure. But Luke's pretty funny.
Mhm.
Um, Not vertical world. There is a sound technician named Moses that I have worked with about 5 times. Um, he and I, when we start going, it doesn't stop. Like, there's my last film that I was working on, the costume designer Basola, who's phenomenal, by the way. Every time Moses and I would have a banter, she would overhear it, and then she would just pause and go, take your quips out of context. Like, I think there was one thing where I was talking about, what did I said? I would talk about my mic, and I was like, oh yeah, it's down in my pants. There's a lot going on back there, and and just like the way that she heard it, like out of context. And I was like, well, I'm just waiting for your hands to be free so I can shove it in your mouth. I was talking about I made cookies, and he was putting a mic on somebody else, and I was holding his cookie, and I was like, I'm just waiting for your hands to be free so I can shove it in your mouth. But she just heard, I'm waiting for your hands to be free so I can and she just paused and went, hold up. She grabbed my arm and she was like, girl. Oh man. No,
Oh
he's hilarious. He's hilarious. Because his name is Moses. I have a BTS video of him just talking about him like parting the Red Sea, and and he's all talking like this. Oh, he's so funny. He's so funny. I love him to death.
oh my god, how is there not more BTS of you and Richard then?
We
Like
have
you
some.
guys, you guys, like just from what I see of Richard,
Yeah.
like I'm sure that set was freaking funny.
Oh, it
Like,
was. It really was. Because there were more questions posed than answered as the script went on.
hmm
And then the baby and it was just there was so much. There was so much fun to that. And then when I first ran out, I was like, I gotta go get my fiance. And then I tripped over my shoes and it fell off. And then I like kicked it. And then I like kicked the other one off. And it's all in slow motion. Me just like kick and like I'm flailing my arms because I leaned into the fact. And Emily, who was our line producer, was just like losing it as she filmed it because it was on the slow mo cam. So it's me running normally, taking my thing, and then I trip and go. Bleh. You just gotta commit to it. Yeah.
it's that one pop leg from Princess Diaries.
Oh yeah.
Uh, what's the biggest challenge about taking on any role?
Hmm. Saying goodbye. Saying goodbye to it. By the time you immerse yourself, it's time to say goodbye. And the longer I spend on a movie, the longer I need time afterwards to just become who I am again because I always have one foot in the door. Even when
hmm
I go back to my hotel room at the end of the night, I still have one foot in the door of that character. And yeah, it's hard. It's hard to kind of be like, "Oh, this is your life and what you do. Here you go. Those people are doing their lives now and you're probably not going to see them for a while." You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Without giving anything away, what's your favorite dialogue you have ever delivered?
Favorite, see, I read this and I was like, I don't know. I don't know. My favorite dialogue I've ever given. This is so weird, but it goes back to a time where I was in college and I was in the skin of our teeth and I did the Gladys, before we go, there's a bottle There's something I would like to give. It's a bottle, and in the bottle is a letter. And in the letter is written all of the things that a woman knows. It's never been told to any man, and it's never been told to any woman. And if it finds its destination, a new time will come. Holy shit, I still remember this. Um, we're not what books and plays say that we are. We are not what magazines and radios think that we are. We're ourselves. And if any man, something, find any one of us, something about luck, and if any man harm any one of us, then his soul, the only soul that he's got, better be at the bottom of that ocean. And that's all there is to it.
Oh,
Yeah. Wow, I can't believe I remembered that.
that was good. I'm
Wow.
just sitting over here like, wow.
And
Like,
imagine me acting that.
yeah.
Look it up. Thornton Wilder, Skin of Our Teeth, Mrs. Antrobus, Act Two.
Oh, I'm gonna have to.
Yeah.
Besides your, what's on top of your bucket list?
I really have been trying to go to Thailand. I'm a big scuba diver, and I'm like one more contract away from being able to go on vacation. I didn't get to go last year. We had a lot of medical bills and everything. And the economy was poopy. But yes, I really want to go to Thailand. I want to do a dive boat on the aggressor for about 10 days. And then afterwards, well, first, I want to spend like 2 days on the mainland and like do Bangkok and do the whole thing that people do. And then afterwards, I want to just like zone out, go to a spa, go to the elephant sanctuary, to be in the marketplace, learn how to cook like them, and just like chill. You know what I mean? I want to be able to have time to be on the other side of the world and not know where I am and be very uncomfortable. That's what I want right now.
I always wanted to, because I watched a lot of blogs, I've always wanted to go to Japan.
Oh,
And they have ferries there that sail around the
oh,
islands.
nice.
And you can take a ferry and get on and like spend overnight and like it sails around the island. Or they have buses that you can sleep on overnight that
Oh,
just
nice.
ride through the
Oh,
cities.
that's great.
And I've always wanted to do that. My grandfather actually visited Japan during the war, back in the 40s. But I've always wanted to go there myself just from travel blogs. And then I know that a lot of vertical actors and actresses tend to shoot over in like Hong Kong and those other
I
areas.
was asked to go over there not that long ago, and I know that they're doing it in Eastern Europe soon too. But I wasn't familiar. I wasn't comfortable with the what they were doing, so I don't know.
Oh yeah, they are very intense over there.
Yeah,
And I recently
I won't
saw
do thrusting. I won't do it.
Mhm. I recently saw something on TikTok, no, IG, where they were talking about how they have now they're like promoting studios solely to verticals because it's like K-pop drama, you know. So like they have intensified so much with like verticals and then trying to move like Midwest over there, but their conditions and their requirements are a lot less safe than ours, apparently.
And like I said before, that can be somebody else's path. I was just offered another one, and I said, "Hey, I'm comfortable with this and this and this. You can view my sex scenes in blah 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 blah." But just the vertical world, I am not comfortable with what I have been seeing,
Yeah,
and it's just who I am. I
yeah.
will go X, Y, and Z, but I don't really have to explain myself. The pay, no residuals, the fact that you don't get a copy of your own film, and that it's for your phone. Uh,
Hmm.
you want to talk HBO? We'll talk, but
Hmm.
but billionaire baby daddy, you're not. I'm not gonna get penetrated for that. We're not doing.
Yeah, yeah.
And on that note, I am gonna go cook dinner probably.
What type of books do you like to read?
It's so funny because I never got on the smut book train, which is so funny because I do vertical smut books. Um, no, I like more thrillers. My friend who was on here earlier, she joined
Mm.
Gracie. She wrote a book. Um, it's like The Secret. I'll have to look up the name. Oh my goodness, I should have plugged her book on this. I got through page 35. That's all the time I had for a month of filming. But when I do have time to read, I'm either doing house projects or singing, performing, coaching, being a princess, or being on set. So I do like detective, murder mystery, those mystery kind of Agatha Christie situations.
Oh, I have one for you that I think you might like.
Love it. Send it to the DMs.
What is your favorite kind of weather?
Hmm. Today was a beautiful 65. I did a lot of yard work, barefoot. I like being barefoot when I'm outside. Makes me feel a little bit more grounded.
Hmm.
I do live in the South, so we don't get as much winters, but I grew up in Virginia where we had all four seasons perfectly. And I wish I was able to have all four seasons the way that I used to.
Oh, today's been a cold 35 for me.
We have a low of 35. We had a high of 65 today. I'm in North Carolina. It's that
Hmm.
time of year where we have the 30-degree discrepancy throughout the day. We have that for about a month. Yeah, we have a month in the winter and then a month in the end of the summer and everything.
I live in the Midwest, so we kind of get Canadian weather
Oh yes,
where it can be really cold or really warm,
yes.
depending on what it is. And then, so to end us out, final question: describe your perfect day.
My perfect day. Oh my goodness, I don't know. I'll never be satisfied. I like the quiet suburban situation that I have where I have my garden and I have my dogs and I can make dinner and I can make whiskey sours. And then I also love being in the thick of it with my Hollywood friends, my producer friends, who I am so lucky that they like me. And
Mm-hmm.
we're going to Broadway raves and, we're doing red carpets and I'm being paraded around and I have people putting blush on my face as I go like
Mm-hmm.
this, and they're telling me what I'm doing, blah, 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 blah. I don't have a perfect day. I like both. And that is my fatal flaw.
Well, that's an awesome way to live. Thank you for joining me for this vertical conversation. I appreciate this. This is going to be posted on YouTube as well
Love
as
it.
clips on my IG as well. Thank you so much, Annalise. I appreciate this. And we really have to talk more in DMs because
Absolutely.
you're just my personality type of girl here.
I will always give you the time of day. When I'm mega million famous, I will always give you the time of day. I always promise.
Bye, sweetie.
Bye, darling.